You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy as
Okay.
well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So
here we go. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. What a disaster.
I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think men can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow,
Oh
I
my
would
God.
learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Yep.
This is actually unreal. Like, how is it possible that this girl could think that you can speak that way to a senator? Like, imagine, and this is a university professor, right? And look at how she came to the courtroom, right? With nose rings in her nose, with those like huge like crazy eyes, right? Because she wants to like attack people. It's like searching for every little excuse to hurt, to be contrarian, to go against. Hello and welcome to the Heliosblog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, please hit sub and hit all for notifications. If you're listening on the podcast, give me a 5-star review, give me a follow. If you agree or disagree with my points, please leave a comment. That's what the comment section is for. If you'd like me to comment on a video, compilation, blog post, please send it to theheliosblog@gmail.com. Let's continue. Unreal. Men that don't cheat. What are you doing right now? Okay, so this is like classic woman behavior, right? Classic. Like 2022 modern women, this is what they do. They sleep with only the apex men, right? The top 10% of men, the men that all men want to be and all women want to be with. They sleep with those men. And then they're surprised when those men sleep with other girls. You see? There's no accountability, there's no logic, there's no reasoning, right? There's no, oh, he has multiple options, so I shouldn't be surprised. And again, and then women do the double standard argument where they're like, well, if he has multiple options and he's allowed to cheat, then since I have multiple options, I should also be allowed to cheat. But here's the thing. For a man to have multiple options, he must fight, struggle, and climb the mountain that is competition in order to achieve that height. It is difficult for men to sleep with multiple women, and so they should be rewarded for it. For women, all they have to do is exist, and they're able to sleep with multiple men. Men and women are not equivalent. So to believe that they're equivalent, right, is actually very destructive and leads to all kinds of problems for women. Okay, let me read you this article here that I've written. I'm just changing the format up a little bit. So this is number 272, How to Attract Women Without Saying a Word. So men think that the game of seduction is just that. But having game is not actually enough to attract women. Game is just one of the pillars for being an attractive man. In fact, most attraction you get from women does not happen when you first meet her. It happens way before that. I don't know if you know the boxer Muhammad Ali, but he said, the fight is won in the gym and not in the ring. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? So, what are women actually attracted to in men? So here are the 3 things that women are attracted to. Physical fitness, money, and status. And if you want to go you know, one thing that men can control that women are attracted to is height as well. So those are the 4. Basically, women want to be with men that other men respect and look up to. They also want to be with a man that other women want. And you heard I was describing that in the TikTok previously, that women only select those apex men. This means that much of attraction comes from things you've accumulated before you've ever met the girl. And there's actually another thing you can draw from this, and that is that the more success you have, the more success you have. It's like when you have experience, you get more experience. It's kind of an exponential growth thing. You start off with nothing, and then you accumulate a lot as you grow in attractiveness. And so the statement, be attractive, don't be unattractive, applies. So with fitness, money, and status, you have everything you need to attract women. And all that means is you need to not mess it up. With an understanding of game and of women's true nature, you have what you need in order to not mess it up, as it were. So game basically is the thing that prevents you from messing up. But you need things before game in order to be successful. So DHV stands for demonstration of higher value. So when you've built yourself to be a man of value, all you need to do is exist, and you automatically demonstrate higher value. So here are automatic demonstrations of higher value. Nice body, nice car, nice clothes, nice watch, a house, tattoos, etc. So obvious signs of wealth and physical stamina demonstrate without having to explain any of your value. And there's actually a famous quote that we can attribute here. Speak softly and carry a big stick is the expression. That's from Teddy Roosevelt. The difficult part, of course, is the days, weeks, and months, and often years it takes to accumulate the wealth and body language that demonstrate this high value, right? So you don't just, as a man, as I said, you don't just get it for existing. You have to build it, right? Okay, so here's body language. If you've built yourself up to be a man of value, your body language will be impeccable. And the reason is because you'll have confidence. For men, confidence comes from competence and accomplishments. So you'll stand straight and unafraid of the world, the thing which you've had to conquer in order to have success. So just a small article there. Here, let's watch this TikTok here. This one is called "Why You Don't Buy Girls Drinks." Okay. So I'm going to mute it, but basically here's what happens. The guy goes to this is just a bar, right? You know, lots of people standing around. He's bought a drink. He hands it to this pretty girl. She says, thanks. And then she just turns around and goes back to talking to her friend. So there is no chance for the guy even to have a conversation with her. Even though the guy, you know, he's tall, but he's not very competitive, right? He's not like very physically fit. He's not dressed super nice. So the girl takes one look at him and she's like, no, right? And she goes right back to a conversation. And I'm sure many of us, like many of you, have had this experience, right? Where you go to a bar, you buy a girl a drink, and she just instantly rejects you and walks away. And for many men, this lesson only needs to be had once, which is you don't buy girls drinks. Because all it does is it shows that you're a useful idiot. She ignores you. And then once she ignores you and extracts that value out of you, she goes on with her life, right? And this applies not just to drinks. It actually applies to basically everything. So it applies to like taxi services, you know, like driving the girl around. It applies to taking her on a $200 dinner for a first date. It applies to helping her move. It applies to taking care of her dogs or whatever. You do not do these things at the outset, at the beginning of a relationship, and especially not as your first interaction with a girl, because all you're signaling is I am a useful idiot, and then she's going to treat you as such, right? And that's the demonstration there. Okay, let's go back to this compilation here. Okay, we're going to skip to the next one because I don't need the explanation. I already explained. Okay. This woman clowns men who only make $95,000 per year.
Where he work at? What they do for 95?
Wow, so she's trying to down men who make $95,000.
Well, here's the thing. So $95,000 per year is huge, right? Like that's 95,000 is just under 100,000 a year, which is, you know, women with unrealistic expectations. They expect men to make six figures, right? 6 figures, 6 feet tall, 6 inches. You know what I'm talking about. and a six-pack abs, right? This is the unrealistic high standard or whatever, right? To be like a 0.01% man. And so this girl is making fun of men that make 95,000 per year, which is ridiculous because 95,000 actually makes you very competitive. It makes you very competitive as a man. So the only reason a girl would make fun of a man for making this much is if she's some sort of dancer or lady of the night, a girl that sells her body for money. In that case, they make a lot of money, but for a very short period of time. And that she would be making fun of men for this shows that she has no idea the kind of work it actually takes to make even this kind of money. This is very good money, actually. And then again, she has even more unrealistic standards because she is not beautiful enough to have those standards, right? So again, it's just like womanist brainwashing, right? Telling her that you can have it all, you can have and do and be whatever you want, and there are no consequences, right?
Dollars a year. That's 7,000 something odd dollars a month.
It's a lot.
Spin the clip. Get back into it.
There's a lot of jobs that pay 95K.
A lot? Sure, okay. So the jobs that pay like 95,000 would be like pharmacist, engineer, like a resident, so like a doctor that's working in the hospital but hasn't started their own practice yet, and is just coming up, programmer, etc. But all of these jobs require university degrees, and none of them are easy to get, right? So yeah, and they're hard university degrees as well. It's not like you can't just exist and get these jobs. So what do you mean a lot of people have these jobs? Anyway, this is nuts. Okay, let's move on.
You sleep with him or just kiss him?
I slept with him.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a classic, right? So the girl trickle shoots you, right? She says, he tried to kiss me, right? This is the classic. So she says he tried to kiss me, and then but in reality that's not what happened. In reality they slept together, and she's trying to trickle truth you so that you stay with her, so that she can have her dualistic mating strategy fulfilled, which is to sleep with an apex man, right? And have that guy's genes, and then to have the protection and provisioning of a beta male, right? That's the dualistic mating strategy. So don't let that be you. Okay, let's move on to the next TikTok here.
Have it easier because women have to be attractive. Y'all don't.
Yeah, so men have it easier than women. That's what this girl's saying. No, that is totally false. Again, this girl is conflating apex fantasy. The experience of the top 10 to 5% of men as the experience of all men, not realizing that she sees 95% of men as invisible. So she says you could be a 2 out of 10 but be rich. Yeah, but to be rich is much harder than being beautiful, right? Basically, for a girl to be successful with men, what she needs to do is not eat too much McDonald's. That's it. And not have a too high an end count. For a man to be successful with women, he must be something of value, must be highly competitive, right? And either the guy could be highly competitive in one field, so he's like, not very good looking, but he makes a lot of money, etc. And that's fine. Or he could have some combination of being tall, being physically fit, having money, being good in bed, all of that, and being charismatic. Anyway, those are like the pillars, right? But he needs all of those pillars to an extent. Do you see how it's different? One person needs a lot less to be successful than the other.
You could be a 2 out of 10 but be rich, and now you're gonna pull some of the most attractive women ever.
Say men have it easier
when it comes to like standards and off of first look.
She really said that.
What?
She must be around certain kind of guys. She's not around the everyday.
Oh no, y'all are crazy.
Guy.
Y'all are crazy. Women have to look top notch to get y'all's attention.
That's exactly right. Women have to look top notch to get y'all's attention, but who she's describing is the apex man. Right? She's not describing the average guy, Joe Blow off the street. She's describing the best men in the world. And of course, there's a certain standard that you need to achieve in order to be attractive to those men. Doubtless. Please leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Let's continue.
Y'all could just have money. You could be in a strip club.
That's so cap.
That is not cap.
Cap.
Fucking long.
So you're gonna just take it? I mean, I'll spend it on you. Chill. Hey, yo, I need you to relax. You said drop a bag on you, I dropped the bag. I showed you I got the bag, but the thing is, what can you do for the bag? And don't even say no weak shit like pop my pussy for the Hellcat. I don't want to hear it. You already said that. Like, tell me what you could do. What can you offer a man? Like,
No.
Yes, so this is the question, right? So men have to work super hard in order to be able to provide all of the things that women desire, right? And then in 2022, what are women providing back, right? And the answer is they're providing their body, and that's it. They're not providing fitness, femininity, loyalty, etc., cooperation, submission. And then they expect to be treated exactly as women 3 or 4 generations ago were treated. Well, that's not how the world works. Let's see what she says.
Nothing.
you can't.
Nothing, huh? So she expects a certain level just for existing? Just for not eating too much McDonald's? Do you see how it's double standards? How one person has to provide much more than the other in order to have the same results? That's right. And that's why there's the lock and key analogy, right? So a lock that opens to any key is a shitty lock. A key that can open any lock is a master key. You see? Now you make your own conclusion as to who's the lock and who's the key. All right, let's continue.
You can't offer me anything?
I'm pretty.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, that's
nice
it.
to look
A
at.
lot of girls are pretty though.
There's enough guys with money to fix all the girls that are pretty and don't want to do anything.
That's actually not true. And that's exactly the reason why women are experiencing modern misery. The reason is because they believe that the apex men are enough to satisfy all women, but they're not, because the apex men are only 5% or 10% of the whole male population. So all these women that want to get with a man, which is, you know, let's say 5 out of 10 to 10 out of 10, although I don't know if there's any 10 out of 10 actual women, but let's say 5 out of 10 to 9.8 out of 10, okay? Those girls all want the top 10% of guys. And if there's a assortative mating, you know, for marriage or whatever, for children, then these men get together one by one with the women there, and a whole bunch of the population is left alone and miserable, right? And that's where we're ending up today in 2022. That is exactly the way that the world works. So girls are sharing the apex men. The apex men are not committing. The girls are becoming alpha widowed, and they're not happy with any guy, and then they end up alone, miserable with cats and boxed wine. That is exactly what her belief set, the girl in the video, what her belief set leads to. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so then why are you here with me?
Because you have money.
Literally. So some girls are literally that, and the word for girls like this is, you could use shallow, you could use gold digger, you could use whatever you want, but clearly she's not with the guy because of love. She's with him because he gives her stuff. So again, this is like a sociopathic kind of girl, right? And if she admits to you that she's like that, I mean, just go find another girl, right? Like, all relationships are transactional, but this transactional is a no-no. Again, please leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Let's continue.
Alright. I don't understand. I just feel like you don't care about me.
Indeed.
You just care about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Is that
right.
bad? Like, that...
Is that bad? I don't care about you. I only care about the money. What a disaster. Is that bad? I'm being honest. I don't like you. I don't care for you. I'm not even attracted to you. I just like the money you provide, and I just kind of open my legs because, you know, that's the price I have to pay. There's a word for this, guys, and it starts with P. And I'm not going to say the word because I want to be friendly for YouTube, but, like, guys, never date a girl like this. Never have a long-term relationship with a girl like this. Never marry a girl like this. These girls are recreational use only. Why would you even pay for a girl like this? What's the use? There's no genuine attraction there. Okay, let's continue.
Wait, I think you need to change your mindset.
About?
Your
Yeah,
life should literally be about...
He needs to change his mindset, right? It's not what she has done wrong. It's what he has done wrong. He needs to change his mindset. You see, guys? Utterly and totally ridiculous. Wow. Okay, let's continue.
Spoiling a pretty girl.
Why should that be my life?
Because that's men's only purpose.
How?
What? Did she say man's only purpose is to provide? Like to provide money? Wow. Where did this girl learn her beliefs from? Jesus. So she believes that men are just a wallet. This is like very alpha widowed. Or whatever. I don't even know where she learned this from. This is very bad, guys. Oh, God.
That's just how it is.
For you. As an individual. Look at the guy. The guy is stunned. The guy's like, wow, so this whole time we've been together, this has been your belief set? Do you see what I'm saying? It's nuts.
You being serious?
Wow. I'm stunned, guys. All right. Next, let's read this article from Jezebel.com called Elon Musk and his dad are both huge proponents of spreading their seed, apparently. As though this is a bad thing, right? Like father, like son, it turns out Tesla CEO Elon Musk isn't the only member of his family obsessed with spreading his seed. Well, everywhere. This week, Elon's famously estranged father confirmed the birth of his second child with a 35-year-old stepdaughter, Elon's stepsister, 3 years ago. Sheryl, a developer who made his fortune in South Africa, also shared some thoughts about his hard-launched 7th child with the son on Thursday. The only thing we are on earth for is to reproduce. So here's what's funny, guys. The truth is that actually is our biological imperative. A man's biological imperative is to spread his seed, and the point is that a man that has a lot of money, that is what they tend to do, have lots of children because they can provide for all of them, right? Basically, Elon is a king, a modern day king, so he can afford to have multiple children, and there's nothing wrong with this, though this womanist website seems to think that there is. Elon confirmed the news with statements virtually identical to his father's. He just had twins with the executive at one of his companies, and they're the 8th and 9th children that he has. And Elon said, "Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. I hope you have big families, and congrats to those who already do." This used to be a very common thing, right? This, like, having big families used to be a very common thing. You know, you would have big families and hope to have lots of boys so that they could help you to, you know, sow the field and take care of the animals, etc. And then if you had girls, like, they would be great because they could help with the housework and to, you know, to marry them off to other families and to sort of bring families and communities together. So, like, this is the idea, right? This is how it used to be. But now, like, womanist brainwashing says that no, having kids is bad. Don't have those. You know, be strong and independent. Have a job. You know, your career is more important than children. Your career is more important than civilization. Your career is more important than everything, right? And what happens? Women end up 35 alone with boxed wine and cats. So Errol and his stepdaughter have a 5-year-old son. He has 5 other confirmed children. Okay. 76-year-old declined to rule out having more children, but did rule out marrying or remarrying or remaining in a relationship. It's not practical. She's 35. Any man who marries a younger woman, even if you feel very sprightly, is going to be nice for a while, but there's a big gap, and that gap is going to show itself. Now, having multiple women and multiple children with much younger women, perfectly practical, apparently. Yeah, that is practical. That is exactly what kings of the past did. Exactly what they did. Yeah, you have children with women who are younger because they can actually have children who are healthy, and then you move on, right? Basically, these are the equivalent of the girls in the harem, right? Of kings of the past. Like, again, these, like, womanist brainwashing sites, they talk about, like, our biological imperatives, like there's these evil things, right? But that is literally the reason why we have billions of people on this planet, because people want to reproduce. The only reason people don't reproduce more is because they literally can't afford it, right? If they could, they would. The age difference is icky. And so is pretty much everything else about the relationship. Yeah, so again, this is like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, the older women that want to be with this billionaire guy, they're jealous, and so they want to tear down the reputations of women that don't, women that are willing to do that, right? And they're doing this in an effort to shame men into being with women that are of lower value, right? Instead of going after women that they can actually have biological children with that are healthy, instead of that being the thing, instead of that, they promote age-appropriate dating. 45-year-old men should be with 45-year-old women. But here's the problem. 45-year-old women can't have children. So if that 45-year-old man doesn't have kids already, then what is the point even of that relationship? There is no point, except that women get protection, provisioning, you know, a moving buddy, etc. So basically, in that age-appropriate relationship, quote-unquote, the men get nothing and the women get everything. Do you see what I'm saying? This is modern womanist society. This is what it leads to. It leads to women winning in every conceivable way and men being maximally constrained. That is the goal of womanism, as you can see here. All right, we're going to end the article and the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking my content, please hit the sub button, hit all for notifications. If you're watching on the podcast, give me a 5-star review, give me a follow. If you agree or disagree with my points, please leave a comment. That's what the comment section is for. Thanks so much, guys, for taking the time out of your busy days to watch my content. Really do appreciate it. And especially if you got to the end of the video. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Please remember to do all of the following. Like the video for the algorithm. Comment on the video. I respond to all comments and I'll give you a heart. Subscribe and hit the bell so you can see my content on your feed. Check out all of my content on other platforms. It spreads the reach of the channel. YouTube, bit.ly/heliosyoutube. Rumble, bit.ly/heliosrumble. My blog is realheliosblog.com. My podcast, bit.ly/heliospodcast. My Patreon, patreon.com/theheliosblog. You can also support the show at bit.ly/heliosdonations and buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Thank you so much for all of your support.